What's up, B? So my last class, in the last BeeSpiritual class, we was talking about ancestral healing. We were talking about ancestral trauma and what it is and how can we heal our ancestral trauma and things like that. And that video got cut off, so I wanted to go deeper into about how we can heal our ancestral trauma and ways that we can connect with our ancestors to do that. And so some of the most practical ways that you can heal ancestral trauma is literally discussing the traumas with your family, sitting down with your people, sitting down with the family members that you can connect with and talk about the patterns that is going on in the family. Talk about, the deception, talk about the hate, talk about the envy, the jealousy, whatever it is that your family has that is a pattern that is keeping the family down, that's not helping the family elevate, that comes from some type of trauma and somewhere in your bloodline. And just by healing that within you, you're already taking the steps to healing that ancestral trauma for the future bloodlines that's come forth. And so if you already don't have children, then you're gonna have to actively do that work with them too. But if you haven't had any kids yet, the fact that you're healing your DNA, once you choose to have children, their DNA will be a reflection of that healing work, right? And so another way that you can heal your ancestral trauma is through journal work, shadow work, sitting down with yourself and recognizing within yourself what it is that you need to elevate and grow. If you have a huge gambling issue and you know that you never really actually been the one to gamble, but you just can't, you just find yourself always in these situations where you're giving away your money. You're always you take large risks. You may not go sit at the card table, but you take large risks with the lottery, or you go make a large investment knowing damn well that you need that money for the next day. That can come from family money blocks, money issues within the family not knowing how to properly, save money, spend money, make more money. That's another thing. Other ways that you can heal ancestral trauma is through dance, through song, through ritual work. Basically what I'm saying, allowing yourself to express and be free in who you are now, because a lot of our ancestors, the trauma that comes from them is the bondage that they was in, especially if you are African descent, as I am African American to be more specifically. All of us have trauma within us that we have to heal from bondage, from slavery. And so being your true authentic self is another way that you can heal your ancestral trauma. You can grow your ancestral DNA. Spell work, doing healing candles, doing healing rituals, that heals the DNA. That's another way that you can heal your ancestral trauma. I'm trying to think of anything I have off the top of my head. I did have a whole list that I had at home, but I'm not at home anymore, so I said fuck it, let's just go ahead and make the video, because why not? You feel me? Because just because I don't have my paper doesn't mean I don't have my knowledge, and my wisdom. It just helps me flow out when I'm making these videos, because it's just how it helps me. Everyone is different as an individual, as a teacher, as a whatever they are. You feel me? Let's think about other ways that you can heal your ancestral trauma. Okay, so connecting with the land can heal your ancestral trauma, because a lot of our ancestors may have went through certain things in certain areas. So when you go into say your family was ran out of a certain town, or they was persecuted heavily in a certain town, going into that town and doing healing work, healing the grid lines, actually venerating your ancestral spirits there and showing them that, it's okay to be here now. It's okay to express yourself here now. We're no longer being pushed away. We're taking things back. So basically getting some type of vengeance for your ancestors. And so when I say vengeance, that doesn't mean you got to go harm other people, but getting your divine justice. They may didn't receive divine justice in their time, but you receiving divine justice in your lifetime heals that bloodline, heals that hurt that happened in that time. You feel me? Because even though we live in a 3D realm and the past and the present and the future are happening in a linear way, when you're working with the 4D, the 5D, when you're pulling yourself out of the 3D dimension of time, all time is happening at all times. So you're able to heal things in ways that you can't heal in a linear way. That's why we talk about healing isn't a linear thing, because you can be going from healing something from the past to healing something from the future to healing something in your present, and all the way around. It's not a linear thing. Other ways that you can heal your ancestral trauma, I'm trying to think, I said ritual words, spell work. I said just speaking with your ancestors, speaking with your family. If you don't know what it is that your ancestral trauma is, and you don't have any family members to speak on about, you can always sit in a meditation with your ancestors and specifically calling on your divine benevolent ancestors to aid you forth with this. You feel me? When you're doing these meditations, it's a moment for you to receive, not a moment for you to direct or tell the spirits what you're looking for. You set the intention and you receive. So basically you allow things to come to you: smells, visions, feelings. You may hear things, you feel me? You may taste something, and through these different sensations, through these different clairs, you're receiving information from your ancestors, you know? And you tell them to continue showing you in physical ways what ancestral trauma that needs to be healed through you. You feel me? And I guarantee you're going to be shown through the ways that you move about life, through the conversations you have with other people, through the ways that you get agitated about certain things. Your spirits will help you and aid you if you're acts of that. Even if you're not searching of the specific beings that's helping you, the fact that you set the intention to call on a specific generalized group like your benevolent ancestors, because your benevolent ancestors does nothing but want to help you grow. They want to keep the bloodline going, you know? And there's some of us that came here, the way that you heal your ancestral trauma is to end the bloodline. You're not meant to have any more children. You're not meant to have any kids through your body. You're meant to adopt, or you're meant to just grow old and not have children at all. And that's okay. That's why you probably feel like you don't want any kids. You may love children, may want to be around children, but you don't desire them. And that's because your bloodline is meant to end with you. The bloodline could be so tainted in a way that your ancestors feel like, man, you know, we just need to start all over, you know? And that's okay, because, you know, energy doesn't never truly dies. It's just transferred into something new, something more, you know, something different. Because sometimes it can be less. And so, yeah. If I do feel any more insights that I didn't share, or when I go home and I look at my paper and I realize, hey, I could have shared this as well, I'll just make another video. As simple as that, you feel me? But it's your boy, BeeSpiritual, your favorite spiritual coach, spiritual teacher, you feel me, your spiritual bestie, psychic channeler, you feel me, ancestral venerator, you feel me, hedge wizard, a whole many titles. But at the end of the day, it's your boy, BeeSpiritual, and deuces. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day.